Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today, the International Dhamma program is conducting the Poya Full Moon Poya Day program. And Poya is a very special month for all Buddhists world over because of the Katina celebrations. I think all of you who are present here today would have attended to the Katina celebrations in your temples, and today is the last date. In fact, I too attended our temple Katina Pinkama, which was today. So they had it early in the morning, and thereafter they had the puja and the Dhamma talk. So today we are very happy to have with us Bhante Sati, who's been with us on earlier occasions. And I requested Bhante that since it is the month of the Katina celebrations, that it would be good that if Bhante can speak on this particular topic. And Bhante has given the topic as a celebration of spiritual renewal. So I must thank Bhante Sati, because Bhante Sati is really the founder of the Metta Meditation Center in Janesville, Minnesota, and also the Mindful Center in Chaska, Minnesota. He is also the author of the Mind Workout. I must thank our uh, committee member, Mr. Senaka Samarasinghe, for inviting Bhante on the second occasion. This is the second occasion that Bhante is giving the Dhamma talk. So I will invite our committee member Senaka to briefly introduce Bhante. And then after that, we will be having our normal program where Bhante will give Pansil, and thereafter the Dhamma talk. And after the Dhamma talk, where we have a Q&A session, and you can send your questions on the Q&A so that it could be answered. So, Senaka, can I invite you to introduce Bhante?
Excuse me, Bhante. Excuse me. Reverend Santindriya Thera, known as Bhante Sati. He is maintaining 2 meditation centers in Minnesota State in the US. In the Cheska Mindful Center, Triple Gem of the North, is located in an urban center. In 2024 summer, our family members visited to this center for a half-day meditation session. In Janesville, meditation and retreat center located by the side of Lake Ellison, 27 acres land, and it's a nicely located area. Bhante Sati is not a new to International Dhamma program. He conducted 2 Dhamma sermons for us. In 2022, April 16th, he was done our first program, and the second program was done in September 17, 2024. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senaka. Bhante, we can give Pansil and start.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much for inviting, and let us begin by observing refuge and precepts. Please say Namo Tassa 3 times.
Namo Dassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Yampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Yampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Saranaгаmanang sampunnang.
Ambante
Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Amesu miccāchāra viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccāchāra veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musāvādā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Rāmere majjapamādakthāna viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Sura mere majjapama datthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Tisaranena sadding panchasilang dhammang sadhukang surakkitang katva appamādena sampādeta.
Ambante sa sa.
Samantha cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devata saddhammang munirajassa sunantu saggha mukkadang dhamma savana khalo ayang badhanta dhamma savana khalo ayang badhanta Dhamma savana kalo ayang badhanta namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Pinnatni. So now it is time to listen to Dhamma. So listen to Dhamma means it is time to us to reflect with Dhamma. Dhamma for us. Dhamma for us to see ourselves and to improve our way of thinking and letting go the way how we have built ourselves and allowing us to evolve into a person who we can become with this Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma is a process. Therefore, in order to go through this with this process, we need to listen to Dhamma with open heart and allow us to see ourselves with Dhamma. Today we have chosen a title with understanding of what are the significance and what are the Dhamma we can understand with Katina celebration. Because it's a month, it's the last day of the year that any temple can hold a Katina celebration. But today I thought, of course, since we have all the Buddhists who have been into Kathina celebrations so many times in their life, I do not want to repeat again what you know about Kathina celebration. Probably I'm trying to help you to get into you through this Kathina celebration and understand a little bit more about you. Kathina celebration is about practice. It goes around monastic retreat, 3-month monastic retreat. Monks, all the monastic community have committed to go for a retreat, and during that time, all the Dayaka supportees, they are just supporting all the monastics to maintain their practice, because without your support, monastics cannot maintain their practice. And then you are providing everything what monastics needs. But not only that. During this period of the time, all the Dayakas or the lay devotees, they are going to the temples more often, and they meet with venerable monks and nuns. Then they would have Dhamma discussions. And even some people, even as how time allow, they are also going in a retreat in this 3 month. That's a Buddhist culture. In this Buddhist culture, we choose this 3-month period to enhance our spiritual path, enhance our inner qualities. Not only monks and nuns, or it's also lay community choose to practice with monks and nuns during this time. And then that's why this 3 month is very important, because they know the monks are committed to be at the monastery during that time. They are committed to practice during that time. Then most of the time, monastics are seeing lay community during the lunchtime or dana times, and also maybe at some other Dhamma talks times. Then you go to temple more often during this period of the time. And what is happening in this 3 month? Lay community and monks, monastics, together they practice. What do you mean by practice? With this practice, you choose this time to reflect yourself. Through these reflections, you are helping you to cultivate certain qualities. And first one, now let me bring you in the describe this in the different way. In order to consider you as a healthy human being, you have to have all the senses are completely and working, which means you should be able to see properly, you should be able to hear properly, you should be able to feel everything properly, and all the senses should work properly to consider you, to see you as a healthy person. In order to be a healthy person, those senses should work properly. But for a spiritual person, there are some internal faculties we should be aware of. Those internal spiritual faculties are cultivating or tuning, enhancing with the spiritual practice. That's the meaning of practicing through reflection during this time. Then at the end, in the each year after the Vasana time, after the monastic retreat time, not only monastic community, lay community also need to check with themselves, what have I gained during this time? How have I changed myself during this time? If you have not gained any spiritual gain during that time, then probably you have wasted that time, or you have not used that time for your spiritual gain. Think about you. How many Vasana times you would have in your lifetime? If you live 100 years, then of course 100 times. But even during that 100 times, first 20 years probably it's not really a thinking time. And also after maybe age 70, 75, probably maybe after 80, again you would not be able to practice as how you like to practice. Therefore, we only have about 50, 60 years. That means 50, 60 times of the Vasana times to pass in our life. Therefore, each Vasana time is very valuable for all of us. Not only for monastic community, because this is time for all of us, or all the Buddhists. Because Buddhists are practicing with monastic community. With the monastic community, we are sharing, helping each other to grow. Monastics also growing during this time, and lay community also growing spiritually during this time. That's why this time is very important, valuable for both monastic and lay community. Now, that's a celebration at the end of the Vasana time, at the end of this Vasana monastic retreat time. We are having celebration. This celebration is not only for monastics, not only for monks or nuns. This celebration also celebration of lay community. So, if I go back to that earlier point that I was brought up, then we are enhancing those internal faculties during this time. First one we call Shraddha, which I often translate that into English as confidence, because faith is not the right word, and you all know that confidence, Shraddha. Because Shraddha means you develop that internal trust by knowing Buddha, realizing the qualities and the work of the Buddha. You develop the trust, then you gain confidence. By realizing the work and the spiritual gain of the Sangha, you develop the trust. By knowing and feeling and realizing Dhamma, you develop the trust on this Dhamma. Not only that, by knowing the ability of your mind, realizing the ability of your mind, you develop the trust that I can do this. This is the enhancing my mind is something what I can do. I can help me to overcome some difficulties, some challenges. I can purify my mind, or I can clean my mind. By knowing the ability of your mind, you develop the trust of your mind. That's what Shraddha is. During this 3 month of the time period, you would have a lot of points and a lot of support from monastic community and even with other noble friends to see yourself, reflect yourself, and then you develop that trust. And each year, you are bringing yourself into next level of this confidence, of Shraddha. Now, that's the one internal faculty you are cultivating or you are developing. Then going forward, there's another internal spiritual faculty which you are developing called Virya in Pali. Virya, actually, there's no one single English word you can properly translate this Pali term. That's why always we bring few English terms. I think we can have a different conversation some other time what is behind it. But anyway, it can be determination and it can be energy, but combination of all of those. Once you are able to see what you can do, then you'd have energy to practice that again or going further. Let me tell you one simple example to describe this. I know those who are here because most of them I know personally, and you are meditators. When you meditate, I'm sure the first time when you had that experience of having very quiet mind and no thought, and at the end you'd have very calm presence after the meditation, that day you gain confidence and that day you have energy, and next time you come to meditation by thinking, oh, I had a wonderful time the other time, then I can do this, I want to do this again. That energy, that determination is there. Then you take more time. Then probably maybe afterward you might go for a retreat or longer meditation practice, because you gain some energy with your previous practice. The similar way, when you happen to see your mistakes or the way how your mind behave, then you gain more energy to go forward and practice more. That also another internal faculty that you are developing. Now this should be happen in every year, enhancing this faculty in every year. That's a meaning for you to celebrate. That is your celebration. Then at the end, because you have enhanced yourself, you have uplift yourself, then that also helping you to gain little more deeper mindfulness, sati, a deeper ability of self-awareness, helping you to reflect yourself back, seeing yourself clearly, that ability you are gaining, that faculty you are purifying and cultivating. Then that is helping you to have a tranquil state of mind. That's another faculty. Then altogether, you are gaining wisdom. That wisdom is about knowing you and knowing how your mind work, how your mind behave, and knowing how you are connecting with outside world. How when greed arise, when anger arise, you have wisdom to catch it, recognize it, then not becoming a slave for that prominent feeling or emotion, that power. So you gain some wisdom to see that. So that's how you are gaining wisdom. Wisdom is about knowing yourself. Now we are enhancing those 5 faculties with us in every year with this practice, with Buddhist practice. And can you do that by yourself? People say, yes, I can do that by myself. No, you need support. we need support. Let me bring you another example to describe this little bit more. Often we symbolize wisdom into light, ignorance into darkness. That's how we symbolize it. Imagine if your house is dark, what do you do? Simply you go and you turn on your light, or you bring light from outside. And dark is not something you have provided. Darkness is there because you don't have light there. Absence of light, darkness appear. Presence of light, darkness disappear. Presence of wisdom, ignorance disappear. Absence of wisdom, ignorance appear. That's what happened. Now, as a Buddhist, what do? We are providing, or we are looking for light. Now, imagine you are visiting your friend, and the room they are given to you is dark. You don't know where the light switch is. What do? You ask your friend, where's the switch? Or you have to look for switch. Now, the switch is about, then you are seeking guidance from your friend. How can I find the switch to turn on the light? That's a teaching. You are looking for teaching, help. Oh, when you talk about Buddhist teachings, Buddha already has given enough teachings for us, which means instructions are there. Probably we are not reading right instructions to turn on our own lights, to switch on a light. So that is what we are looking in Dhamma. In Dhamma, we are looking the way to turning on our wisdom. That means we have some realizations. The realization comes by having a right understanding or seeing it that in incorrect way. That's about wisdom. Therefore, remember this. Ignorance is there with absence of wisdom. When the wisdom appears, ignorance disappears. That is the reason we need to enhance these internal faculties. With internal faculties are the support and energy and needs for wisdom. Otherwise, we don't need to develop those internal faculties. Internal faculties should be developed, cultivated, enhanced in order to have wisdom. So Buddhists have understand that. That's why we practice. That's why we sacrifice our time, taking time to practice. That practice is helping us to enhance these internal faculties. So with this practice, at the end of Vassana time, Vassana season, monastic retreat time, we are having a wonderful celebration with one robe. Actually, there's a huge meaning behind this robe. You all of us are part of this robe. This robe is not only the robe that monks are wearing. It's a symbol. Even though there are 1,000 monks in that temple, you are gathering around one robe. Why? We need to understand that. Robe has made of thousands of strings. Each string is strengthening the robe. You weave robe by thousands of strings. Now each strings are equal to every one of you. Some strings are thick, some strings are thin, some are not that strong, some are very strong. But we weave a robe by combining all those strings together. Which means spiritually some of you are thin, spiritually some of you are thick, some of you are strong, some of you are not that strong. This robe is representing the community. That's why as a one community can only offer one robe. At the end of the Vasana time, everybody get together, then they offer one robe, which means everybody is celebrating their spiritual gain during that time together with the monastics. So therefore, this robe is not about the robe that monks are wearing. It's about you. That represents you. That is how you are being part of that robe. That's how it's being a biggest, a most powerful spiritual practice. That power is not in that cloth. The power is given by every single one of yours mind. That's why it's being a biggest celebration, spiritual biggest celebration, powerful spiritual celebration. Because there you are recognizing what you have gained, who you have become during this 3 month of period. Then you have a huge gratefulness coming through from your inside, because you are grateful of monks being there, monastics being there, your spiritual friends are being there, and having a place to you to practice is there. The gratefulness is turning into a huge power in you in that day. Not only you, the entire community is celebration. They are grateful. They are practice with gratefulness. So if that happen in every single community around all the monastics communities, imagine how powerful spiritual practice that could be. Monastics, they also practice in that 3 month, and at the end they are celebrating their spiritual gains, and lay community also celebrating their spiritual gain. They are being grateful for with each other. Monastics are grateful for lay community for supporting them, and lay community is grateful for monastics for supporting them to understand Dhamma during that time. Then both communities are celebrating this together at the same day, representing their robe. So if we can do this in every year, imagine in every year we are uplifting our way of life. We are uplifting our spiritual path. Then you are practicing the teachings of the Buddha with this celebration every year. So that's a significant and spiritual practice, spiritual gain behind this Katina celebration. And it is not only renewal. It is not only renewal, because we can renew something what you already have. It's kind of purifying what you have, but this is enhancing your spiritual gain, your spiritual practice, your spiritual way of life. You are changing. As example, and you can see some people just come to once a while to the temples at the beginning, But later they might go to a Dhamma sermon in every weekend. And maybe a few years later, some of you go to Dhamma sermon every weekend, and also during the week, you may go to practice meditation or do something else with the temple. Maybe you might be having more conversation with monastics more. And if you look back, maybe 20 years back, you might have done little than now. That's how you have changed your life. That happened in every year, especially this period of the time. So externally and internally both, we are changing our way of life with this spiritual gain. So now I would like to open the floor for any questions we have, and then we can build a conversation with questions.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bhante Sati. And maybe you can send your questions on Q&A, because that would be the easiest way. And of course, we have a few of our participants who are on the panel. They too could ask any questions. So just to start with Bhante, I think what Bhante really mentioned about coming out of the darkness with the use of the light. Now, the Katina ceremony also has maybe different stages, with, of course, the where the Katina Chivara is maybe taken in a procession where all are engaged in it. And as Bhante mentioned, the strength is really in the Katina Chivara, where all the strings will give the power and strength to it. And of course, this is true even in our own life, where if we are all together, then we are always much more stronger and we are able to achieve results. And I'm sure even for the Buddhists, this would go a long way. Now, one of the other things that happens, now, of course, there are different customs, I think, of course, things have changed very much about the Katina Chivarya, how it is being done, and the various stages that are taking place. Of course, those are maybe the various rituals that are taking place and then going on. But of course, at the end, that where the Katina Bana is given. Now, can Bhante maybe tell of the significance of this at the end, how this with the Bana, and then how it will also benefit not only those who are engaged and undertaking the Katma Chivara. They say that that is one of the most maybe meritorious deeds that one could perform. But really the benefit, purpose of it, and how the maybe our the members of the temple and those who are engaged in it could benefit, if one they can just say a little on that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lakshman. There are few things we need to understand with this celebration. We cannot avoid. There are two parts in it. There are two main parts in any Buddhist activity. Number one is spiritual peace. Second is cultural peace. Remember, we need both. Some people think, oh, if it is culture, we don't have to practice. But culture is very important to us to protect and preserve the way how we practice. So therefore, even around this Katina celebration, there's a culture which has formed with Katina ceremony. Let me tell you, bring you a few examples. According to Buddha's time, even after Buddha, Katina celebration was kind of surprised event. And this is very equal to now some of you have surprise birthday parties for your friends. They don't know that you are organizing birthday party. It's all of a sudden it happens. Then you want them to surprise. You want to surprise your friends with the party. The similar way, Katina ceremonies also happen in the past as a surprised event. Community surprised when monks, monastics with this event. But as how time goes, it is not easy these days because now we have bigger communities and everything is kind of bigger compared to 200, 300 years ago. Therefore, we need to organize now. That's why it has now becoming an organized event. Because there you can see this cultural piece have been evolved. It has been changed. But there's a spiritual piece behind it. I think still that spiritual piece is maintaining under this cultural uh, um, case. Or as example, at the end of this event, the venerable monk and whoever the one who received this cutting robe and wearing the robe and giving Dhamma talk or sharing Dhamma. It is simply reminding people what they have done in last 3 months and helping them to revisit their achievements and encouraging them to maintain it to going forward until next uh, uh, Vasana time, until next Katina ceremony time. Because we are renewing ourselves, or we are actually enhancing ourselves. We are having more committed practice in every year in that way. And that is the reason we call this as a most powerful practice or most powerful meritorious activity in any given temple in the year. And also, the monks who receive this Katina robe has to do few other things during that time after they received. That also helping this each monk to let go whatever the monks is holding, even letting go ego or letting go greed, and that process is happening there. Because with the Buddhist practice, giving is not encouraging to gain greed for somebody else. Let me bring you an example. If somebody give you a gift, it is not only a thing you have developed some significance, some memories around that gift, because that might add value with who gave you that gift, what type of gift is that, and how much you want to protect that gift. And there is a lot of greed around that gift. You develop greed, you develop some attachment with that gift. But for monks, when they receive the Katina robe, you even let go all the attachment for the robe right away. There's a practice behind it. They has to go through those reflection of wearing robe is encouraging them to let go every time when you are wearing robe. Therefore, this exchange is not supporting anyone to gain greed, anger, or ignorance. it is completely helping you to know and recognize impermanence, unsatisfaction, and those things. Realizing Dhamma through that. That process also happened after you offered this robe to monks. And therefore, there's no way anyone gain greed or ego through this event. And also, helping to maintain this cultural practice is not easy. It is like every train station is important and needed to maintain in order to train to go. Just think about this. If entire world stop celebrating Kartina celebration in this year, then next year is not going to be great again. Why? It is like a breaking the chain. It's like a breaking the line. So that's why helping to maintain what we have been maintained, what have been going is very important. That needed to be happened. That's why supporting Katni celebration is about you are helping this sasana to exist during our lifetime. Without you, that's not happening. Then because helping to this to exist is the gift for future. It's a gift for future. So therefore, it is our responsibility and the current time of the world helping to maintain what it has been offered by past and supporting it in our lifetime to go forward.
Bande, actually a lot of the questions that have been sent around one particular area, that is the method of the celebration of the Katina. Some of them are saying that a lot of them are spending lots of money, and if you want to undertake a Katina Pinkama, that you should be maybe a wealthy person who can do a lot to the temple and organize a procession. So in that context, of course, Bante mentioned that it's a cultural event and it will help Buddhism also. But is there any way that one could really maybe control it, or because it really depends on each temple and maybe each daika that takes over? So this maybe the way of doing it, whether it's been overdone, I think that's what they are really saying, that it should be there, but maybe not to the extent of a really maybe something where one wants to show that one is better than the other one. What are Bante's comments on that sort of
Yeah. Let me tell you
events?
what I think about this. Thank you, Mr. Lakshman, for briefing those few questions into one. We need to understand we all are human beings. And also, Katni celebrations are organizing by Pruthajjana, who are not enlightened yet. Then we have those issues. Let me bring you one example that you all can understand. Think about weddings these days. There are weddings happening in very poor couples. Also, there are weddings happening in rich families. Those weddings are not equal celebrations. What is behind it? as how they have money, they want to perform a bigger wedding ceremony to again express their happiness. And at the same time, they want to show others that this is how we have celebrated our wedding. Why? That's how people. That's how people are acting if you are not enlightened. You want to promote yourself. We call it ego, or we call it this with a mana, right? Same thing is happening in the temples too, because we are human beings. And each Dayaka Sabha want to have a celebration as how they can have. Then if they have a wealthy community behind this with this Dayaka Sabha, they want to have in their level. There are some temples, they don't have such a wealthy families supporting their temple, then they have the Katti celebration in their level. Therefore, we cannot stop this until everybody get enlightened. And but at the same time, my advice to you is don't struggle with this. Do what you can, do your best. Think about you. And because this is the fight that you are doing, and which there's no benefit for anybody. No benefit come to you by fighting with this. Because if you fight with this, that means you don't understand how humans are behaving. So it doesn't matter whether it is around the temple or whether it is around your house or home. People are acting like people because this is a celebration. People read the celebrations in that way. As example, now these days you can see even Katni celebrations, and people are now robe is carrying by elephants, and there are big celebrations are happening. If you see 100 years ago, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen in 100 years ago. But now culture is evolving in that way. Like 300 years ago, even Dalada Perahar didn't have elephants. Now we do. Elephants came into Dalada Perahar in last 200 years. Now, will it stop? No, it will go forward. That's how any culture, or that's how any community, or any particular cultures has been growing or evolving. Therefore, my advice to you, don't fight this. Let it go and do your best. Because there's no worth of spoiling your mind around this. Just cultivate your Shraddha.
Right. Bante, there is a compliment sent by one of anonymous attendee. You gave a new meaning for Katina Soinwans, Bohoma Ping. Then there is one really Maja Edwards. Thank you very much, Bante. Please, will you repeat what are the 5 internal faculties of the spiritual person?
Yes, in Pali, I was talking about Shraddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, those 5 faculties, which is confidence, energy or determination, faculty of mindfulness, faculty of tranquility, and faculty of wisdom. So those are not just the qualities, those are faculties, those are internal faculties. And how much you value your eyes, the same way the faculty of mindfulness is valued. How much you value your ear, the same way faculty of virya is valued. Determination. And but unfortunately, most of us are only taking care of our physical body, not internal spiritual faculties. That's about Buddhist teachings. Buddhist teachings are encouraging us to cultivate those spiritual faculties. That's how you become a wholesome person.
Bante, there is one question. In Sri Lanka,
Mhm.
Now there is a practice of taking the Katina robe to people's houses, and of course having various celebrations. Please let us know the value of it.
Yeah, I can see there are benefit of that because that way you are connecting every families and close to this robe and encouraging them to enhance their practice. There's a value in it, but unfortunately, I don't know whether we are taking that value or not. Maybe it's, and sometime I have seen people are using that as again as a ego boosting activity, but spiritually there's a value in it. I hope people will realize that value and they will take it. I would say it's a very beneficial practice, but also I want to tell you this, that is newly introduced one. I have seen this practice going around in last 10-15 years, uh, maybe probably more than that, maybe about 20 years. It can it can be benefited if we take it well.
I think a lot of the Dayakas who are doing this, maybe they do it in a group. So as a result, we
Yeah,
find that each one is given a turn to
probably
take it
connected.
to their house. And of course, they really maybe sometimes
Mhm.
have a Dhamma talk or invite friends and relation. I
Mhm.
think it does a lot of good because it will also spread the message, and also the Dhamma talks that are given, which will benefit most of them. So I think it's seems accepted by most of the Dayakas, and it looks good. Any of our those who are on the panel here, would you all like to ask any? Uday, you have any question or comment you would like to make?
Yes, Venerable Bhante, it was very useful for us to know the real meaning of Katina. Actually, at least for me, I begin to realize the two aspects you mentioned. We only see the cultural side, like the festivity, as the Katina, but actually the spiritual side is often neglected. I think you brought it to the surface, which is very useful. I think that was one of the benefit of this discussion today to me. And I think it is up to us, really, people, to take it because Katina is a celebration given by the lay people to the Sangha as a way of saying thank you and all that. So I think it's mostly on our side, and we have the tendency to take it overboard sometimes, and by all these festivities and cultural things. But I think we should focus on the spiritual side, which is very very good suggestion, and you opened our eyes of the telling us what the real meaning is. And I think I really want to give you merit for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Uday. I think we have Mr. Rohan Perra, who's our former ambassador to the UN. Rohan, you have a question?
Not a question, Lakshman, just to thank Bante for a very lucid exposition of the significance of Katina. That has been very beneficial. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Rohan. Bante, Ambassador Rohan Perra, he was earlier in New York
Okay,
at the
yes.
UN,
But,
and I don't know whether Bante had the opportunity to meet or maybe attend
because
any other functions.
no, actually, because I live in middle of US and middle of
Yeah.
the country, and I usually don't go to east part. And here, we are occupied with the retreat center, meditation center, and mainly we are conducting meditation retreats here at our center.
Thank you, Bante. Ivo, do you have any questions? Ivo Gunatilaka, Ivo, or Anjani, one of you all, if you all have any. Senaka, you have any comments or questions?
You are muted.
This means a different approach of thinking Katina ceremony. Thank you very much, sir. Because you have given Saddha Virya Sati Samadhi Prajna. That is the way of spiritual way of thinking Katina. And at the same time, you explain the cultural way of thinking Katina. It's growing year by year to a different approach. Not only Katina, we have explained the Perahara also, how the elephants are coming to the Perahara. Thank you very much, sir, for giving a new thought of Katina.
Thank you, Senaka. Ivo, you have some comments?
No, Lakshman. But Bande answered my question. Someone else asked the question and he answered the Saddha Sati Samadhi. I wanted to ask the same question. That's, yeah. Thiruvan Sarnath.
Don or Drew, you have any questions? They are in the UK.
Yeah, I think that. Nothing really. It's very good. Very good. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with Drew.
Right. Bante, I think just since there's a little more time, say on the spiritual area, because I think that's most of them would like, and I think most of them are interested in the mindfulness because Bante is really involved and guiding people in the meditation. Can Bante give some advice as to how one should really maybe develop the mindfulness and the meditation, which would be beneficial to our Dayakas?
So yeah, and let me share a few thought around because in last 25 years mainly I'm working with non-Buddhist, and before that I used to work with Buddhist, and I'm seeing a few few things that we can actually use. Because I have noticed why our Buddhist community, I mean, basically I have think why is our Buddhist community is kind of stuck, not growing internally. Because we are not really listening well to Dhamma. We are judging Dhamma instead of listening. We have not become a Shravaka. Shravaka means you have open way of listening to Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma is helping us to reflect ourselves and seeing Dhamma in us. But if somebody says something we like, we agree with that Dhamma. If somebody says something we don't know or we don't like, we disagree with Dhamma, instead investigating it internally. Because Dhamma is for us. How much we have used this Dhamma to cultivate or enhance our inner self. I don't think that is happening more often, but here I'm not telling about everybody. There are a lot of traditional Buddhists I have seen, they are doing this in the correct way, investigating on self and questioning themselves and questioning why am I experiencing this, why am I going through with this, and seeing them. But that is not mainly happening. But when I'm looking at in the Western world, people are, when they come into a new way of thinking, new practice, they open to see, they open to hear. And what I'm saying is that help them to develop the commitment. Let me tell you one simple example I notice. We conduct retreats here at our retreat center. I say when people come into 7-day retreat or few-day retreats, they are completely committing for that retreat. They have that ability to commit. But I do not see this in our Buddhist community. That commitment is not there. Often they say, I don't have time, Bante. I don't have time for 1-day retreat, or even I don't have time for a week. I have that responsibility, this responsibility, and my grandkids or my kids' responsibilities. What I'm not seeing is that determination is not there, the commitment is not there with the Buddhist community. Why it is not growing? Why it is not growing? Because yet they do not see Dhamma. They don't see how impermanent their life. They don't see how valuable the time they have right now. When are they going to do that? Always think in the future, but that future will never come. So I see that lack of commitment without knowing, without seeing ourselves. So recently, at one of our retreat, there was a lady who was at the retreat, and at the end of the retreat, we had a conversation about uh, what made you to have this commitment for this retreat. At the retreat, and this lady was saying she's a single mother. She has 2 disabled kids at home, but she made some other arrangements to take care of those kids, because then she thought supporting her mind, helping her to enhance her mind is much more important, much more valuable for her in order to have a peaceful mind. When people see that, they are committing for it. So my encouragement for all of you to check with your commitment for your wisdom, commitment for your peacefulness, commitment for understanding Dhamma, what type of commitments you have. We need to strengthening that commitment. I do not see that with our Buddhist community much. It's very sad to see that, but unfortunately we don't go there somehow. We judge Dhamma, we judge monks, we judge everything else, but what do we gain by judging others? We blame, even though around this particular topic, Katina celebration, we can judge easily. We can say, well, they are not doing the right way. What benefit we will have by judging others or complaining others? None. Therefore, we need to get back to us and check with ourselves. Enhance your commitment for your practice.
Bhante, would it mean that as far as foreigners are concerned, they really appreciate of the opinion that Dhamma, say, or meditation, what they are doing, will really be of benefit to them, both spiritually as well as maybe in their normal day-to-day work that they are doing? Because
Definitely.
this might something that may be missing in our maybe the local Buddhists who might think that maybe what would be the benefit that I will get, or how it will help me in my day-to-day work in addition to the spiritual gain that I gain. Is there any sort of explanation Bhante can give for that sort of thing?
Yeah. So, but this is how actually I am saying. I'm saying our traditional Buddhist community is expecting to world change externally. They think they practice, then when they practice, when they do go to temple, and then when they do these Buddhist activities, the external world should be changed. But in the Western community, now they understand this is how they are approaching. They are internally they are changing. That internal change helps them to change things externally. Their actions are going to change. The way how they are going to see is going to change. That's the Buddhist way. Buddhist way is not changing the world. Buddhist way is changing yourself, your way of thinking. Buddha became the Buddha internally. He became the Buddha. Then after he becomes the Buddha, everything else changed around him. We have to change our way of thinking. So I am saying that is happening in the Western world. And often when you ask people, why are you coming back? There are in power retreats, 80% of people who are coming back. Only 20% we see new people coming to the retreats. Often we ask them, why are you coming back? And they have seen some changes in their life by changing inside after the first retreat. They keep coming. But what is happening to us? Our Buddhist community, we are Buddhist, but our commitment level to practice is lower. Then most probably we die as a person who came to birth. There's no changes. There's no peace in us. That's why with the cutting celebration is very my most meritorious celebration, because it's giving us time to check with ourselves in every year, yearly, annually we check what I have gained in last year, how I have been changed in last year. Then what do I do in this year to go into my next goal in end of next year? As a community, we have this annual check-in day with Katina Day.
Bante, just one thing, since Bante has been mentioning about the foreign countries, uh, now you see, if you look at the economic conditions, now say if you look at the economy of Sri Lanka and then maybe the other foreign countries, it will be really different. As a result, the way that the people maybe the problems that they're having, how they have to overcome it. Does Bante think that maybe the people, maybe overseas, who are in maybe the developed world, have more time and freedom to think of those matters than maybe people here in Sri Lanka who are always maybe having so many problems or difficulties or whatever it is. Would Bante think that there can be also some
I think, I'm seeing two things. I'm seeing the level of the commitment, and in the Western world, when people do one thing, they are committed to that particular thing, then they are moving to another one, right? And then they are committed to that particular thing that they are doing. When they meditate, they are fully committed to that. When they are doing work at work, they are committed to work completely. When they are attending at home, they have commitment for home. But somehow our commitment level are not in that level. That's the main thing. Number two is actually honesty. Honesty is a kind of struggle for most our communities, because here what I'm seeing is, we talk about five precepts. We talk about five precepts, but five precepts are really going with how much you are being honest and how much you are looking at others equal to you. That's a Buddhist way of thinking, because the Buddhist way of thinking is you are treating others the way how you wanted to be treated. Are we doing that in Sri Lanka? And so that's make the difference. How much you are treating others the way how you wanted to be treated. How much you are even respecting others that much. Because if we are really Buddhist, we have to show that Buddhistness in us. But I'm seeing in the Western world, people are practicing it not in the terms of Buddhist, they're practicing is as a term of human, as a human quality. I think we should learn those lessons and again enhance and remind ourselves who we are. Help us to find really and who we are.
Thank you, Bante. Sonali, you are resident in the US. I think you just put your hand up before I was going to ask you the question. No, what I really, of course, want to find out is because you are really someone who is practicing the Dhamma and very much interested. Do you have any sort of comments on what Bante had mentioned, which might be of interest to the others also?
Right. So I live in a small community in Wisconsin called Racine, and we don't have temples close by. The nearest temple is about an hour away, and the one in Chicago is about 2 hours away. So I hardly ever go to temple unless there is some pressing need to go there because whatever. But there is a Catholic monastery here, about 5 minutes from my house, and they have twice a year, I think, they have like 3-4 day retreats, Buddhist retreats, and conducted by lay Buddhist people. And there isn't much of a Sri Lankan community here in Racine where I live. It's mostly Americans. And I agree with Bante Sila that the people who come there, the Americans, they are so completely dedicated to the practice. It's incredible to see. And a lot of the times I hear American people, I don't know if I hear it too much from Sri Lankan people because I do listen to Bana and things often, is that after a sitting, they always say, I feel so relieved. I've really never felt the relief myself. And I don't hear that too much from Sri Lankan people. I'm not sure. They talk about being light and some changes happened since they sat. So I'm just wondering if part of that, the difference between the Americans or the Westerners and the Sri Lankan community, I'm just wondering, American community it seems to me that they come to gain peace right now. They don't have the spiritual information or the knowledge that we carry. So they do the meditation and they want to feel the peace and the relief with the meditation. So they're completely dedicated to doing that. With the Buddhist community, Sri Lankan Buddhist community, we are kind of doing it or at least this is may not be true at all, but the perception sometimes is that we're doing this for not for the immediate benefits of it, but for next birth or to attain nirvana or whatever it is. So that immediacy, I think, is a little bit lost in that. And because of our ego and our craving and our clinging, sometimes you feel like, well, you don't want to give up this life so quickly because it is kind of enjoyable. I mean, this is a good life and we have all of these things. And are we ready to give this all up kind of a thing? So I'm just wondering if there is that difference that makes the Westerners a little bit more receptive to the meditation. And the Sri Lankan Buddhists a little bit more like, well, I'm not quite ready to give all of this up yet, kind of a thing.
Thank you. Bante, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, and actually, so again, I don't want to say that this is common for every single person. I mean, even I have seen people coming to Sri Lanka in some meditation session from the long distance. Even here, Mrs. Sonal, you said only 2 hours from the temple. It is nothing, 2 hours for somebody who really want to go to temple for meditation, right? Because I have in our last retreat, we had 8 people who came from Chicago, which is 7.5 hour drive for the retreat. When you want to go, time is not the matter. Distance is not the matter. And I have seen the same thing in Sri Lanka. That's why I'm saying this is not only the cultural matter. This is about each individuals. This is about each individuals. Because I remember, when I was a kid growing up and practicing meditation, and I used to go to the meditation center. I think some of you who's here know the meditation center is called Nilamba Meditation Center. And at that time, Mr. Godin Samaratnam was the teacher, and Mr. Pul was one of our friend. But we had even that time people came from Gaul for retreats. And same time, of course, people came from London, people came from Germany and everywhere too. Distance is not the matter. Matter is your commitment, how much you want. And at the same time, here actually I was saying one of our weekly meditation class, one person was there, one lady was there who was driving 2.5 hours every day for this class. She's driving 2.5 hours in one direction by herself, even in the winter time. In winter time, this part of the world, you have icy roads. You only need to do one single mistake to die. But she was committing. And I remember once somebody asked her, why you are going for 1 hour class by driving 5 hours back and forth? She said, still this 1 hour class is helping me to become who I am today. This 1 hour class, for 1 hour class, I am investing 5 hours of driving. I'm really value that commitment, because that commitment is the investment we have for our own spiritual gain. I think
Yes, I think
next
time.
question is the
Time is, yeah, yes, Bante. So I think actually I must thank Bante because this was a very valuable Dhamma talk, plus also the discussion. I think so many areas that came to light, and which I think each one of us can make use for our own spiritual development and spiritual gain. Uh, so, Udaya, can I ask you to pay merit to Bante? Udaya, you are there?
Yeah. Again, thank you and many merits to Bante for explaining us the real meaning of and then how to continue our lives using that as a spiritual guidance for the better future and better for everybody, society and all that. So, Bante, thank you very much. I want to wish you all the best and give all our merit for your compassionate Dhamma talk today.
Thank you very much, and
Thank
may you
you.
all have a wonderful journey with Dhamma. May you be able to realize Dhamma, and may you be well, happy, skillful, and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no obstacles come to you. May your mind be free from anger, frustration, anxiety, and fear. May you be well, happy, skillful, and peaceful. All the blessings be with you.
Bante, can we pay merit to the Devas and the departed?
Yes, yes. And let us share merits with the Devas and all the deities. Hakasattha Chibummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakhantu Desanang Akasatta Chibummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakhantu Desanang Akasattha Chibummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakhantu Twang Sadati. May all the blessings be with you.
So. Thank you very much, Bante. I think it was very, very enlightening, especially with the Katina Chivara, Katina Puja, and the other very beneficial areas of mindfulness, and how we should also, as Sri Lankan, should maybe adjust ourselves to take the benefits of the Dhamma, and I'm sure that this will benefit everyone, all those who are present. Thank you very much, and we pay much merit to Bhante for the valuable time that Bhante has spent with us. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Oh, Bin, thank you very much for inviting me. All the blessings be with you.
Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Right. So, okay.